any further ado, it's 3 o'clock. Welcome everybody to our trivia event, our culinary trivia event with Viking Cruises. But today we're going to focus particularly on some of the European rivers. And with me on today's event, I have Darren Dolan and I have Rainer Marks, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves in just 1 second. But before I do that, I do want to go through some very quick housekeeping items. So as we go through today's event, you guys are going to be seeing some pop-ups on your screen with the possible answers to the question. So just like the one I am showing, well, actually Denise, our lovely marketing manager, is pushing right now. Have you ever done business with Luxury Cruise Connections? So simple yes or not yet answer. And so as you respond, and it seems like so far 100% of you have done business with us before, which is great. So as you respond, this is just practice of how today's event is going to go. So we're going to be pushing questions just like this. You guys are going to be answering the questions exactly like this. And then I'm going to allow for about 30 to 40 seconds, depending on how difficult the question is, for you to answer these. And as I see more than 60% of the attendees respond, I will end the poll, share the results, and announce what the actual correct answer was. So what's going to happen today is we're going to, well, of course, I have Rainer and Darren here, which, like I said, they're going to introduce themselves properly in a minute, but they're going to be co-hosting this event with me. And while we go through some of the different culinary experiences throughout Europe, we'll also have an opportunity to share how Viking does an incredible job at delivering this culinary experience throughout these different rivers of Europe. Also, if you have any question about anything that we're talking about, there is a little bubble at the bottom of your screen when I'm typing hello right now. So that little pop-up that you see, that is where you would share your questions or comments. And at the end of the event, I will open up an opportunity for us. I'll go through every single one of those questions and open up an opportunity for Darren or Rainer to answer these. This event is being recorded, as you probably already know. We are going to be sending a follow-up to this event within the next 24 hours, together with some of the offers that we're going to talk about also toward the end of the event, beginning and end of the event. But also, here's me sharing the results, by the way. So 81% of you have done business with us, and 19% of you have not done business with us yet.
That was me. I pressed yes.
And is it only about river cruises? Robin is asking. Well, today's culinary trivia is very focused on the culinary experiences throughout Europe, where obviously it's just an easy relationship with the different rivers where Viking sailed or cruises through. So yeah, we're going to talk a lot about rivers. But Darren and Rainer represent Viking Cruises in general. So feel free to ask any question that you might want to know about Viking in general, and obviously we can answer any of those questions, whether related to river or not, toward the end. And without any further ado, we're gonna get started with today's event. Denise, am I missing anything regarding our housekeeping items? I'm good. We're good to go. Excellent. So, Darren, can you please introduce yourself first?
I will indeed. First of all, what a great pleasure. And for those clients of Luxury Cruise Connections, great choice. I've known this team for many years. I do represent Viking and Luxury Cruise Connections. I am that conduit that goes between to make sure that their agents are very well trained, that they are very familiar with the brand itself, and of course to encourage them to put forward Viking when it does come to choice as an option. So that primarily is my role. I will be in March, not too long away now. 14 years it will be with Viking. So a lot has changed since during that time period, going from rivers to oceans, expanding. I worked with another cruise line prior to that for 11 years. So in the cruise industry, I've been loyal to two brands only. And during the entire time, I've continued with my passion, my hobby, which used to be my business. It used to be my company. I've had restaurants. I've broken them. I've burnt them. I built them. Time to get out. But the continuation of travel, food, wine remain a great passion. So you'll see on that slide there, it says amateur chef. Because that's what I am. But I'm privileged today to have a great partner with me, somebody who I call more of a friend than a colleague. And the reason why I have brought Reiner along with me today is because to share his expertise, because he actually was an official chef. And I'll hand it over to Reiner.
Well, Darren, humble as always, you are a great friend and your culinary expertise goes a long way. And I really value your expertise on my webinars that we've done in the past. So my name is Reiner Marx. I am a former executive chef, started as a chef, but made my way up to executive chef and then went on to hotel manager in onboard operations with Viking a little longer than that. So 5 years in onboard operations with Viking and another 13 coming up in May on the Viking sales team. So a colleague of Darren. He is in Florida. I'm more on the West Coast, but looking at a extensive experience in onboard operations, cooking, managing, and I hope I can give you some answers to your questions today. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate the opportunity and feel honored that you invited me to have me here today.
Everybody else was busy.
Well, fantastic. And so as we get started with today's event, what is obviously, we're talking about culinary and we're here to host a culinary trivia, but what is what's that relationship between Viking and culinary experiences in general?
I think food and wine has progressively become more and more popular, right? You can't switch on a TV show without seeing some form of cooking. And it really has enticed, and it really has become a hook and a reason why so many people are actually traveling the world these days, right? There's always an interest in architecture and history, arts and craft, but food and wine has become a major reason for why people are traveling. So we've embraced that. We really have embraced that and feeding into it, and not just what we get to experience when we're traveling the world, because it's one Viking, right? But also really aligning a lot of our menus and food choices and options that we get to experience while on board the ships and during our tours. Ryan, you could probably add a little bit more to the onboard.
Well, right along those lines, because we travel with all of our senses. We see, we feel, we taste, right? And it is very much the food of the area that we're sailing through that you get to experience on Viking. There's a reason why shows like Darren said, the Anthony Bourdain, the traveling chef shows have become so popular, and people want to experience the destination. You see the rivers of Europe here, and of course you're going as you sail through France, through Portugal, you experience the food of the destination while you're sailing through these areas.
Yeah, we always like to say that there's no better time to taste the foods and wines of a region while you're actually traveling through them, and taking segments of our menus now, whether you're on river, ocean, and where it will be. We have a dedicated place on each evening's menu dedicated solely to foods of that region, right? And that's from an appetizer, mains, and I think the beauty of that is the ability to try things, to be adventurous. Maybe we have a steak tartare on the menu, right? And you're at a restaurant for the first time. Am I going to commit paying $20 for that steak tartare for something I might be getting rid of very quickly? It's adventurous, right? You can try it at no additional cost and say, wow, I love that. Oh, no ways, thank you. I'll have my meat cooked, next time. You know, so I think we really have dedicated, you know, and brought the two together, as Reiner alluded to there.
Good. So, we have, both Darren and Reiner, like I said, I mean, are very, are foodies, obviously. And I know, Reiner, obviously an actual chef. Darren wants to be a chef. I really try. But in my opinion, I just want to add my 2 cents to this. I think one of the best things about um, traveling throughout the rivers of Europe is that because of how the cities and these capitals and these important towns were kind of grew all around the rivers, you're there. You're get off the ship and you're literally in town. And it just gives you an opportunity to try local cuisine as well. Yeah, I mean, can you have great a culinary experience on board Viking for sure? But if you want to get even more adventurous, part of the experience as well is to just, wander around these towns where you're docked and try some of the local cuisine as well. And I think that's part of the magic. But I'm sure many of our guests today know that, and they're here, to learn more about Viking for sure, but also to play and participate in this trivia event. I also want to remind everybody that for those that are in today's event, you guys are going to be eligible for an additional $100 per person onboard credit for any new booking. So obviously, this is only for new bookings that we make. I believe, Darren, give me the timeline. I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So next 2 weeks from today, we'll send a reminder of this together with tomorrow, together with the recap of today's event. And we also have, for the winners of today's trivia event, sur la table prizes, and we have first, second, and third prize winners with $150 and $25. And Denise is, while we are doing the talking and the moving of the slides and everything, Denise is going to be tabulating every single one of the answers, and at the end of the event, we'll announce who the winners are. And so, who's ready for some trivia time? You guys ready?
Do you need my address now or at the end?
Good one. I want to know if you guys are ready. You guys are ready? I want to see some hands up. Just go up with your hand like this. Some of you guys don't have a camera on. I suggest if you guys have a camera that you can turn it on. It's even more engaging. But thank you for those that are here. I know that you guys are ready to get this going. And so I'm going to go with the first question. So remember, as I push this question, Denise is going to push the little pop-up in the screen for you guys to give me your answers. And then I'm going to count about 30 to 40 seconds as I see those answers come in to then stop the question and announce what the actual answer is. So, first question for today's trivia event. What is the famous fish enjoyed in Amsterdam? A, cod, B, Dover sole, C, herring, or D, sardine? What is the famous fish enjoyed in Amsterdam? I see some questions come in. We got 40% of you guys have answered so far. We are 25 seconds in. 65% of you guys have answered. 75% of you guys have answered. And enter your last answers. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's see. 62% of you guys answered herring. Would that be the right answer?
Interesting.
Correct answer is herring. Guys, can you educate us about Amsterdam culinary scene, please, a little bit?
Absolutely. And I will just go back in history. My very first Viking cruise, I think, Rainer, you may or may not have been there, with our good vice president of operations, a very large, giant Dutch gentleman. And he took me to one of these little cabins that you find along the canal ways of Amsterdam. He said, "Do you like fish?" I said, "Yes, I love fish." He said, "We're going to do something very Dutch." and he ordered these 2 herrings that come in the white paper with the raw onions. And he said, "Do as I do." And he took this herring by the tail. It's kind of pickle. It's pickled herring, basically. Grabbed it by the tail, just dropped it into his mouth, and then pulled the tail out. And all that was left was the spine of the fish. That is how you traditionally eat a herring in Amsterdam. I ate that fish all day. It would not leave me. It's definitely an acquired taste, but one of many enjoyable things that we get to go along the way. Adventurous again, but Reiner, yeah, I know there's lots more to eating pickled herring in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands.
It has become literally a European favorite, and it absolutely originated in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. You find it all over Europe. The pickled herring. It's part of the creamy herring salad. Those kind of things. It's very similar to the texture is similar to, how would you say, like almost like marzipan, right? When it's done right, it's so soft, so tender, and like you said, it's not cooked. It's pickled. It's brined for several weeks, and it's absolutely delicious and very refreshing and light, right? So I'm a big fan of it too. But it's absolutely true. You have that taste with you for a long, long time.
But
And
I
I,
think that, yeah, moving on the next slide, I think, and these are a couple of examples of towns and cities that we visit along the Rhine Getaway, the Grand European. So that's the lovely thing about these itineraries, right? You're not just visiting cities and region, countries rather, but the regions of these countries, and the regions of the countries change as well. Sometimes from dialect to food. And that's the beauty of traveling some of these 8-day itineraries as we have featured here. Although you're traveling for 8 days, you really are encountering everything that river cruising has to offer, from major cities to small towns to UNESCO World Heritage Sites, as we see here with the windmills of Kunderdijk, to scenic sailing. So just an example of that. And in Kunderdijk is one of those locations where we visit briefly for kind of a half day, depending which direction, but the opportunity to immerse ourselves in one of the best things that the Dutch are most famous for, and that's cheese, right? Dutch cheese. And perchance, as we look here, the Gouda cheese, right? Very, very familiar worldwide. Edam is another cheese of the region as well. But to get to enjoy a working world experience with us, where we go from seeing the cows grazing to being milked to the actual cheese, and then of course the opportunity for us to buy cheese and bring that home.
I see, but before we move on real quick, I see a few people with their hands up. Just wondering, do you guys have a question, or were you just celebrating that you got their correct answer? I just want it's okay. If you guys have a question, it's fine. You can unmute yourself. I love to hear it. But love the engagement. So if you do have a question, feel free to just unmute and ask. Laura, you want to say something? Laura Redwine? Good. It's fine. All right, Darren, go carry on, please.
For the sweet tooth among us, the ultimate stroopwafel. Oh my gosh, amazing. Absolutely. And particularly the way that it is. Again, we always see food, but we don't quite know how it's executed sometimes, right? So you see the stroopwafel, you buy it in the store. Beautiful traditional way to enjoy this is over a hot cup of hot chocolate or hot coffee. So you actually put the round stroopwafel, which you see here, which is the waffles, is a beautiful syrup in between. Just put that on top of a hot drink, and that starts to melt the inside of the stroopwafel. Just becomes runny and more decadent. It's lovely. And Reiner, I think we, besides having to make them, we can purchase them here back home as well, right? That's another beautiful thing.
I see them more and more. You're absolutely right. In specialty stores, European stores, Euro markets, you find stroopwafels, and like you said, it's great they come in different sizes because cups are different. They come in a smaller diameter or larger cups, and you put it on there, and the steam from the beverage, like you said, is melting kind of like the caramel on the inside and makes it gooey, and that's how it's supposed to be eaten. It's delicious. It's very sweet, but that's the Dutch way.
Absolutely right. Oh boy. This concept, and now we're going back to onboard, right? And true immersion, as we said earlier, about really marrying the two elements of travel and food together. We started this concept, I want to say around about 2015, Rainer, 14, around about there.
Yes, right around.
Great success. Depending on the itinerary that you were on, we will theme this accordingly. It's the taste of, and you'll see on the table there, we've chosen Taste of Germany. We're on the Rhine Getaway, of course. And this is what your dining room is going to look like. The way it is decorated, the foods that are brought to you, both from the, where we're doing the preparation, sampling again, right? And Rainer, what we get to do, to bring everything together.
This honestly is one of the crew's favorite days. They look forward to that day because they for once get to not wear their uniforms. They dress in the traditional outfits of the country, and it's a celebration of food. That's what it is. You sample your way through that region, through that menu, and you have a little bit of that and this, the beverages, the foods, and you pair and you talk and you taste. It's a fun event. They play the music, the traditional music, on the in the dining rooms and in the areas on the ship. And the chefs, they have a great time cooking this because we have international crews, right, from 30 different countries, and some of them cooking their own food. They might be from the Netherlands or they might be from southern France. So for them, it's a piece of sharing their own recipes with our guests. It is very special, very fun. Right.
I know firsthand that is one of Darren's favorite nights. I've cruised with him throughout some of these rivers, and he actually dresses up as part of the crew. That's how much he likes it. But anyway, who's ready for the second?
Never leave home without the depending on the itinerary you're going on, it's easily packed,
Yep. All right, who's ready for the second question? Let's see. As we're talking about Germany and Darren dressing up for the occasion, let's go with the next question. In Cologne, what is the famous beer served in small glasses that guests get to enjoy during their night tour of the city? Guinness, Pilsner, Weissbier, or Kolsch? Did I pronounce that right? Weissbier?
Weissbier.
Weissbier. Oh, almost.
Wheat beer.
Weissbier. Guinness, Pilsner, Weissbier, and Kolsch.
This is water, by the way.
All right. We got 59 of you guys responding so far. 64% of you guys responding so far. I'm going to allow 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and done. Let's see, 52% of you guys responded Kolsch, 30% of you guys responded Weissbier, and the correct answer is Kolsch. All right, Darren, Rainer, educate us, please.
Go on, Rainer.
Well, Kolsch,
I've never done this.
No, you've never tasted it. You should try it sometime. The Kolsch is actually literally translated from German, means the one from Cologne. So it comes in a very slim glass. We all have those images of the Oktoberfest where you have this big Stein, right? Very different in Cologne. The glass is very slim and narrow, and it's literally 2 mouths full. That's how it's being ordered, 2 mouths full, because it's supposed to be drunk very, very quickly because it gets stale. After 5-10 minutes, you don't sip this beer. This is a beer that you kind of drink rather fast. And the reason why you see this Kürbis, who is the server of in these brew houses, he's having this drum of beers, and your how do you call this coaster, the paper coaster, cardboard coaster that the beer comes on, also doubles as your receipt, because all the server does is he's doing tally marks on there. So when your glass is empty and you wish to have another one, you leave it like that, and they just, without asking, replace it. If you want to take a break, put that coaster on top of that beer, and he's going to pass you. Kind of like in a Brazilian steakhouse, right? That's how it works. And your coaster, when time comes to settle the bill, all they do is they look at your coaster to know how many you had. Because you're not gonna add marks to it either, right? It's really what he put on there, and that's how that works.
Amazing.
They count how many coasters you have. I mean,
some of us have 2 coasters, right?
It is paired. This used to be the Cologne night out used to just be that, right? We would just go out and we go to Peter's Beer Hall. Beer House is one very famous one. But what we saw that maybe our guests were enjoying a little too much beer and not enough food. So this is actually now being combined to be a culinary evening as well. So while we're visiting these brauhouses, we're actually drinking Kolsch and whatever else it would be, but we're also tasting local cuisine. As we see here, Kartoffelpuffer, which is the potato pancake, as an example. So, and it becomes a dine around. So we leave the ship before dinner. And so now we incorporate the food element of that as well. And those guides, so much fun. Some of them are actually working in some of those brauhouses. So it's a good evening.
Didn't know that. And what are we looking at here? This is on board?
It could very well be. It could very well be if we were offering it as a local option. Yeah, Himmel and Erd. Basically, heaven and earth is the translation for that. With traditional bratwurst. And tell us more about the art part of that, Rainer.
It's very, very interesting dish. So, like Darren said, Himmel and Erd, basically heaven and earth. Heaven refers to the apples that are used in this mashed potatoes, and earth, the potatoes that come from the ground. So it's a mash of apples and potatoes. Sounds weird, is actually pretty good. Per Darren, he tasted it. So per Darren, it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I quite like it. And anything with a sausage is normally pretty good as well.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Again, wine. We spoke a lot about food now, and we just spoke about the beer culture of Kolsch. Of course, wherever we're going to be traveling, right? Wine is predominantly grown on all the riverbanks in certain sections, and not to be missed out here. Actually, if you're doing the Grand European, you're getting basically by Koblenz, you're getting a bit of the Rhine, the Rhine wines. Lord, that's easy for me to say. The Rhine wines, the Rieslings, and then we'll go on then to the Moselle as well. We're going to go on to the Main River. We're going to be enjoying the Danube for the Wachau, which will be coming up soon as well. So, and here we have a traditional Riesling, right? And sometimes people say Riesling, oh my God, too sweet. Rieslings change based on the destination, the local, the location, the terroirs. And again, another great opportunity to enjoy these wines on board while you're traveling with the complimentary wines that we pour, and then you can come to conclude for yourself. I love that. Is it available when I get back home? So, Rainer, anything you'd like to add to that?
No, you're absolutely right. The perception of Riesling is such a sweet wine. It can be, and especially those Mosel Rieslings, they're richer in residual sugar. But the further north you go on the Rhine, they get crisp and clear, and you have these, lemon zest almost in there. I love Riesling. It's one of my favorite wines. So we also go in the vineyards to taste them right there where they are made. So very educational. I love these vineyard visits very much.
And Riesling is just one example of obviously so many different blends, right, that we're going to experience along the way. We just featured this as it was very typical of the regions that we'd be sailing through.
Well, such a great food pairing wine too. Such amazing.
Very neutral, very, very neutral.
Amazing. All right. So who's ready for the third question? Let's see if you guys are ready for the third question. Here we go. In the Alsace region of France, with its German influence, what is the delicious German pizza that is native to the region? Let's see if I can do this right. Flammkuchen, pita, naan, or tortilla? Those are the possible answers. Flammkuchen, pita, naan, or tortilla. Yeah, did I do it right?
You've been practicing.
You got
you did your homework.
Is it Flammkuchen or Flammkuchen?
Flammkuchen.
Flammkuchen. And we got 56% of those answers in. Come on, guys. Let me see a couple more answers there.
Everyone's on Google.
Two, everything's in Google. 2, 1, ready. And I think this was very much of an easy one. 91% of you answered Flammkuchen. And the correct answer is actually Flammkuchen. So I can only say that a few times. So
That's why I chose that question. Just to hear you say how many times you could say it.
talk to us, educate us.
Like one of those drinking games. Every time Carlos says Flammkuchen, have a shot. Congratulations, guys. Yeah, well done. Yes, delightful indeed. And again, this is another one of those examples where we don't just get to see the food, we don't just get to taste the food, which is all good and well, but in certain area tours that we go on, we get to hands-on, right? Again, we are making these in some instances, with guidance, of course, with professionals. The lovely thing about the Flammkuchen is the fact that it can be both savory or sweet. All right, so very much like it's a lot thinner base than a pizza. And I'll let Rainer talk to that. But you know, speck is very traditional, which is the ham, right? But you can go to town on the toppings that you naturally want.
Onion is a very typical one, though, right? Onion.
What's that, right?
Onion is pretty much always there, no?
Yeah. Onion will be on there. The speck, the diced ham as well. Cheese as well can be put on there. Rainer, you can.
Yeah, but a lot of the chefs they're using crème fraîche or sour cream in there as well to add a little layer of freshness. So I'm a big fan of that, and it's actually this dish is kind of like should be enjoyed with a glass of wine. It complements a Riesling, the Alsace region, the Rhine region. That's where this dish comes from. Is so focused on its wines, on its Rieslings, and it goes really well. I was really amazed. A couple of years ago, I tried for the first time one of those dessert Flammkuchens, which blew my mind. Right, the one. Do you remember the one with the baked apples, and then they poured a little Calvados on flambéed, right? How fun was that? Oh, so much fun.
Yeah, in Strasbourg, right?
And they get served. They're served different ways. I think you had a really unique experience where you were served a elongated Flammkuchen with what?
With actual scissors. My wife and I were in Basel, Switzerland, which is the end of, just to show you how far spread this dish goes. And it was our first time to Basel, and we'd gone out in the evening. I'd heard about Flammkuchen. I explained to my wife what it is. It's a round pizza. It's a German pizza. And what arrived was nothing like I described. And I looked like a fool. And arrived with these scissors. And basically was more elongated, as you would on a breadboard. And we both had these scissors, and we were able to cut through, just like you would use with the pizza wheel, right? And so it just shows you how the same dish varies. Again, I'm going back to regions again, right? Different country, different region, same concept, but different. So to say I've had it here doesn't necessarily mean it'll be the same in the other location. So yeah, that was quite an experience.
What are we looking at here?
Darren's specialty dish.
I will premise this by just saying we are looking here at sauerbraten. Now, sauerbraten is not a dish you wake up in the morning and decide you're going to have for dinner that evening. Because this beautiful rump that you're going to buy, this jointed meat, is going to be basically brining. If you're going to have this on Sunday, I'm going to start like that. If this is going to be your Sunday meal, you are going to start brining this on Wednesday.
Wow.
In the brining juice to just let it induce and just, oh my gosh, the succulence of this. So by the time we're braising it on the Sunday, we've taken out the brine liquid. It's infused with all those wonderful, you'll see the elements there from the bay leaves, the peppers, right? Everything you see, it's just enriched into that, and it's slow braised. It melts in your mouth. And Rainer, obviously being able to ginger biscuits. That's one of the little secret ingredients of a sauerbraten is when you come. It's actually the gravy that you're making, your sauce is actually infused with crunchy ginger biscuits, and that's the one that mind boggles me. That one, but served with many traditional sides there, Rainer.
Right. Even some of them along the Rhine, some of the chefs, they use raisins. So it's kind of like a sweet, savory kind of a dish that has some hints of the vinegar still in there. And actually, the vinegar also doubles as a meat tenderizer. Like you said, it's succulent. It falls almost apart when you cook it. You got to take it out at the right time. It's such a tender, beautiful, juicy dish that is served with these broader noodles or spätzle. Spätzle is a great dish of potato dumplings. You find multiple, different starches that you can serve with that. But everybody in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, in this region knows some way, some sort, some form of sauerbraten. And every village basically has its own recipe. There's no one standing recipe, but it's such a great, amazing dish. But like you said, you got to plan for it.
Yeah.
I've actually never tried this one. I don't think
Oh my goodness.
Have you had it? It's normally it would normally be on a Taste of Germany on the one of the, or even the Danube as well. It should be. So look out for it next time. Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
Rich.
Who's ready for the next question? Ready to go? Yeah, here we go. Next question, question number 4. Goulash is the national dish of Hungary. What is the main Hungarian spice used in its making? Curry powder, paprika, saffron, garam masala. Let me see your answers. Curry powder, paprika, saffron, or garam masala. Let me see your answers. Denise, I think a lot of people are responding very similar. I think Darren and Reiner made these questions way too easy. So we'll see. We'll see how, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to go into that Viking budget and get more than expected people some prices. That's okay. And we're 40 seconds in, and I want to see a couple more answers before I end this one. 3, 2, 1. And most of you guys responded paprika. Is that the right answer? Let's see. There you go. You guys are good. Darren, Reiner, educate us here, please.
Made it so easy for you. Yes. So wonderful goulash, maybe not so much. And if we're down here in South Florida in the middle of summer, maybe not kind of that dish. Very warming, very traditional elements. And the goulash simply is that some of the best dishes we will discover wherever you may be in the world, right, are simplistic. Maybe made for the worker, or just made from leftovers, so to speak. And goulash is this amazing soup, heartwarming, changes. Now we say goulash is the traditional dish of Hungary, but again, just like with the Flammkuchen, right, it's found all over the Central Europe region. From potatoes, you could have a beef goulash, you could have chicken goulash, but the thing that remains the same throughout is paprika. And the buying of paprika is something that our guests do avidly. Hungary is, famous for the peppers and the paprika. And one of the places I would always suggest is going to on the tour to the center. If you're not taking the organized tour, take a trip to the central market in Budapest, three stories high, and you will just go through all the markets, and they got all the produce, all the spices, and you're buying it right by the gram. These are not always boxed. You're buying fresh. So yeah, Rainer, we've made this.
We've made this, yes. And there's a couple of things to remember when you buy the paprika and use it. Use the sweet one. So there's 2 types of paprika. There's the spicy one and there is the sweet one. I encourage you and urge you to make sure you're buying the sweet one, which you can generously use in this dish. I have heard, from a couple of culinary accidents where people used the spicy one, and that does not turn out the same way. It is still great, but it really is hot. So this dish, I love this. Like Darren said, it's hearty. It's served normally with a homemade bread or crunchy crust bread, but it also has some homemade noodles in there that makes it even richer, right? Instead of in addition to those root vegetables, and is enjoyed during the fall, winter, early springtime on a cold day. This is the best, right? This is or I've seen it in Christmas markets served in a small bread loaf. Fantastic way of just warming up quickly with a hearty dish. Way to go. And one thing, if you buy paprika in Europe or in Hungary itself, make sure it is vacuum sealed, right? The vendors, they know about that. You can buy spices over there. Make sure it's vacuum sealed. That way you don't get in trouble at the airport here in America. Bring it back vacuum sealed. For that matter, anything that you buy overseas, make sure it's vacuum sealed. The cheeses from the Netherlands, or your spices from Europe, that's how you get them in without any problem.
Yeah. And I think river cruising, and particularly Viking's presence there, and other brands too, have brought the North American tourists to Europe, right? So these guys are just seeing tourists daily, and they know how much part of their business dependent on that. So they're very accommodating. You're bargaining, you're talking, it's don't be afraid, don't be shy. They're going to speak English, so it's one of the beautiful things. And being in Budapest, in the Hungarian capital, going back to the itinerary, is the fact that when we say Budapest, we say overnight. At the very least, any itinerary incorporates the Hungarian capital, will it be the least an overnight? So it gives you plenty of time to really immerse yourself and discover the magical city divided by the Danube River. We have the Bud, which is the high mountainside, and then the Pest is the flatter side. So highly recommend. Oh my gosh. And if you happen to be there during the colder months, maybe the Christmas market, Rainer, this one's we should actually have Carlos. Carlos, what is it?
Carlos,
we talked about this yesterday. What
I will I will not I will not participate. Let you guys have this one.
That's so funny. These chimney cakes, the Hungarian call them kurtos kalas. So these are basically hollowed pastries that are cooked over open fire by constantly slowly turning them here over the charcoal. First of all, imagine the setting. You're at the Christmas market. It's cold outside. You're approaching this kind of stand, and it's warm, and the sugar that's in the dough is kind of evaporating, and you have that smell. And then they caramelize them shortly before they remove them from the fire. They put some sugar on there and caramelize that before they remove them, and then fill them with all kinds of goodies. My goodness. And now it is a meal. This is supposed to be shared, right? If you eat this alone, you're set for the day. But this is supposed to be shared, and it's fun, and it's hot and steaming and warm. Absolutely fantastic dessert. And it's best enjoyed at markets like this. Yeah, they make it at restaurants, but it's not the same. This is the way it's traditionally cooked over open fire. What an experience. What a great dish to taste here in Hungary.
Another typical market food, like you said, Ryan. If you're not burning your fingers, you're not having a good time.
It's not good. If you got food is enjoyment, but also a little bit of suffering when you make it.
Absolutely. But you're thankful for it, in the colder months.
Yes,
about that. It's a warming device as well as a culinary, enjoyment.
100%.
All right, moving on to the next question. Question number 5. You guys ready? Get your fingers ready. Here we go. While discovering the beautiful Austrian capital of Vienna, which of the below would not be considered a local culinary experience? Eating Sachertorte, visiting the farmer's market, tasting pralines, or eating a schnitzel? Which ones would not be considered a local culinary experience? Eating Sachertorte, visiting the farmer's market, tasting pralines, or eating a schnitzel? I am We are 38 seconds in. I want to see a couple more responses. 54% of you guys have responded, 56, 59. So 3, 2, 1. Get your last answers in. Here we go. All right, let's see. 48% of you guys responded tasting pralines. And the correct answer is tasting pralines. Good job. Darren and Reiner, please educate us here.
Oh, this is a great city. The absolute most enjoyment that I think I've ever had in my life was trying to decorate a traditional, dense sacotor, which you pronounce really well, by the way, Carlos. You've done so well today. Sacotor is this dense, heavy, rich chocolate cake. A cake that has created a war that wages on today between the Saka Hotel, who say that they were the originators, and several other Viennese coffee houses who say, no, we were the originator of this. And it's been ongoing for centuries, right? It's crazy. It's all part of the Viennese coffee culture. The coffee, the coffee shop culture. We're not going to Starbucks. Other brands are available here, but this is going in and experiencing something that's been historic. The traditional coffees that the Viennese offer, the baked goods. One of my favorites, if you are going on this itinerary, any itinerary that we incorporate Vienna, is my favorite place to go is the Cafe Diemel. That's Demel. To go into the lower section where you can buy everything and see the locals on these little round tables enjoying the coffees. And here we have, thank you. And there we have the image of the Cafe Diemel. And here's a little hint, a little tip. If you go inside, it's extremely busy and there's no seats downstairs. If you make your way to the back from the main entrance, the exhibition kitchen is right there with a big open window where you can see these artisans just doing work with chocolate and all kinds and spun sugar and such. There's a little staircase right there. Take that staircase up to the next floor. It's just rooms and rooms and rooms of tables and waiters providing exactly what they provide downstairs. So there's my little tip about coffee culture and sacotor. And Ryan, if you talk about my decorating, I will leave.
I signed the waiver. I cannot talk about this one, but and interestingly, Darren, isn't it funny that right across from Demel, your Hotel Sacher, it's just a stone throw away, if you will, right? But you're true. There's a lot. It's true. There's a lot of rivalry there. Maybe I want to add on one experience. You will have the opportunity to have your best schnitzel of your lifetime here in Vienna, and one of the restaurants that stand out to me is Fiegelmüller. Fiegelmüller, hard to pronounce, but ask your tour director, your tour guide, how to get to Fiegelmüller. They will point it out to you. The best schnitzel of your lifetime. It is thin. It is cooked in cleared butter. So we're not counting calories that day, right? And it is absolutely amazing. So Fiegelmüller in Vienna, there is not a single time that I visit the city without having my schnitzel at Fiegelmüller. It is an institution.
And Rainer, I do have a competition when we go, because that previous slide you showed, Carlos, that schnitzel is nowhere close to the real size of a Fiegelmüller schnitzel. The schnitzel makes up the entire plate.
You wouldn't see the plate. Yes.
And yeah, he does a great job at embarrassing me every time we go, because everything's a competition.
It was a friendly competition, and I paid for it later because I couldn't move after eating this thing.
Oh God, I love the food. So awesome.
Yes.
And one of the favorite things to do is a little tour that we do as well, adding to the culinary tours. Now, what we did recently, particularly with the itineraries, we expanded it. So we shortened the distance traveled, but we incorporated, and it was an overnight in Vienna. And what that now allows our clients to do is not to make a sacrifice of I want to go here, but I want to go there, and I had to choose between one or the other. So now you can go out to Schönbrunn Palace, and you can also come visit the farmers market, the Nash market that we're looking at right now. One of my favorite things to do, and I'm sure we're sharing personals here, and Rainer will abide because we've done it together, is take the organized tour into Vienna, do the highlight tour, and then when that concludes, some people go back to the ship. I love then to go enjoy my coffee or go down to the Naschmarkt here, the farmers market. And there's all this array of restaurants and seafood and really, really good food. Have a good lunch. And then shopping with the chef tour will be arriving after they've completed lunch on the ship. And then you can join the tour of the Naschmarkt with the chef and the other guests on board and continue to eat the local. It's Rainer. It's what do we always love to do when we do that?
I like these visits because it not only is the sampling of the local cheeses and the local charcuteries and dried sausages and those kind of things, but also you learn what are the local and regional fruits, what are the vegetables grown around the city of Vienna. And there are so many, and some of them might actually be exotic, like you see those roots here in the forefront.
Yeah.
These radishes that are served with beer and just a little salt. They're peeled and then cut into kind of like a harmonica. You can pull it apart. That's a traditional way of serving these. So there might be some fruits, vegetables that you might not be familiar with, and this is a great educational piece to learn. Okay, what's being served in this region? I'm very, very fond of those, and I recommend it to my clients and guests and friends and family, whoever visits wherever, in anywhere in the world. Go to the markets, talk to the people, learn about those vegetables. You might find a new favorite to use back home. That's very educational, very fun to do.
Or what we like to do, because just in case we haven't been fed enough, is right.
Right.
I love to do this. Just go to the bakery and buy a baguette and buy a bread, buy some of the cheese and those meats, and go back to the ship. And we'd always say, okay, let's go up to the lounge and share it there. And I bought some local wine, and there's the beauty of it, right? And look at right on time is a great slide.
So much fun.
The fact that we can just sit there and drink and bring our own wine to dinner. There's no corkage fee. Again, you're finding local wines that you probably wouldn't be able to find back home. Just embrace your time together, and it's phenomenal. We spoke about earlier about what river cruising is really about, right? That 90% of the focus is being off the ship in the towns, in the cities, and enjoying some of the tours and experiences that Rana and I have shared today. But it wouldn't be river cruising if we didn't enjoy scenic sailing. And scenic sailing can be found on every itinerary that we operate. It's during the most beautiful stretches of the rivers. In many cases, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. It's an amazing day. It's maybe morning or afternoon, depending on the direction. The program director is up in the wheelhouse, starts to narrate the history and points out oncoming highlights. And it's just really, really wonderful. One of my favorite places to do this is here in the Wachau Valley, in the wine growing region of Austria. And Krems, a little beautiful little town, little UNESCO World Heritage Site town as well, is just absolutely phenomenal. And the Wachau is famous for wines that maybe are not front of mind for the North American traveler, right? Although very similar to varietals that we may enjoy here, but Rainer, they do differ slightly, don't they?
They do, and they go really well with this local cuisine that we just talked about, such as apple strudel and schnitzel and all of these wonderful things. So wines like the Grüner Veltliner, the Blauer Zweigelt, or even Federspiel. I love to play with these different flavors, and I use them. I always have a little bit of a stash in my home to kind of play with Austrian wines, with German wines, and combine them with foods from all over the world. For example, Federspiel goes really well with Asian food, which who thought of, right? You have this residual sweetness, so a lot of fun to play with these amazing wines. Blauer Zweigelt, which is a red grape, rather unusual for this area, but really a unique, right? Really a unique kind of a grape varietal for those a little bit more adventurous and try some new things. And
we've just added a new tour as well. The reason I'm
mhm.
really bringing this up because I actually know the person, the winemaker, Schlumberger is a local sparkling, and we've just had a joint venture with them. I actually met the gentleman with another Austrian friend of mine here in Miami. So now we're doing a wine tour to the sparkling wines as well. So that's definitely improvement. Wow.
Right.
For some reason, I look at the street and I get, Rainer, it's your hometown. This is up to you.
Very much so. This is Regensburg, my hometown, a quaint little Bavarian town that was never destroyed, not in all of those centuries. So for me, Regensburg feels like you're walking to a medieval city. It takes, a lot of the movies, the medieval movies have been filmed here. Hollywood loves Regensburg. And funny story, maybe, it takes very little effort to get the city ready for a movie shoot because all they have to do is remove all the vendors and the modern clocks and those kind of things from the city, put out a little hay and let a couple of chickens loose, and we're back in the 1300s, right? That's really all that it takes, because the facades, they're from the 1400s, 1300s, 1200s. The cobblestones, there's so much history from Roman days. And as you can see, we're docked right in the heart of town, in walking distance from that cathedral here. And that's a pattern with Viking, Darren, right? Most of our tours start as a walking tour right from the ship.
Absolutely. And I think what it does, it gives you a great lay of the land, right? And the
Absolutely.
guides, your guides are your guides, but what we as travelers will like to do is self-adventure as well, right? So when the actual organized section concludes, they will give you ideas. I need to shop something. Where will I find this? And they'll give you ideas, and it's easy. You never get lost. You know why? Because the river is always downhill. Go to find the cathedral and go downhill. That's it. That's your GPS. It never fails.
Medieval GPS, yes.
It seems to work. I think about Regensburg, besides having spent some just absolutely fabulous time with you and your family, Rainer, is everything you just put it. Everything seems to be the oldest thing in Regensburg, right? It's the oldest marketplace. The bridge is there's the oldest connecting bridge. The sausage, I think if we have that slide, I don't know if we included that or not, Carlos, but the Alte Wurstkutsche, here we are, the oldest serving restaurant, I would call it then, right there by the ship. We just looked at the slide previous to the ship docks, right by the bridge, by the medieval bridge, is this little hut, little house, little greenhouse. I love it. I don't get to bend down much in my life to get through a door, but here I do. And all they cook, all they grill is the wonderful sausages. I swear the lady there, they've been cooking for 800 years or something. I swear it's the same chef. She's been there from the get-go. And there's 12 seats inside. If you want to sit inside, you have an option. Your menu is 3 sausage, 6 or 8, right? Just grab one on the go, on a crispy bun. Enjoy it. It's just one of those small little places that are so near and dear to my heart. It really is.
A hole in the wall, but really, really good.
It is. And speaking of easy things to make.
It's one of the few places I haven't had an opportunity to visit in one of the Viking River cruises I've taken. So that's hopefully one of the following ones.
Yeah.
But while we get that planned, who's ready for the next question? We got 3 more questions to go, and here we go. Sorry. What fruit is commonly grown in the Normandy region of France and then used in the production of local liqueur? Oranges, cherries, grapes, or apples? What fruit is commonly grown in the Normandy region of France and then used in the production of local liqueur? And we are 20 seconds in. I want to see those answers. We are 30% of you guys have responded so far, and I see answers all over the place. I love it because these are the tiebreakers that I needed. Otherwise, this was going to be a very expensive event. But we are 47% of you guys have responded. I want to see a couple more answers come in before I end this poll. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. 53% of you guys responded apples. 32% of you guys responded cherries. And the correct answer is apples.
Indeed. Yep, the Normandy region is known for its apple production, as well as they use the apple for the making of a fabulous liqueur, basically an apple brandy Calvados. We host a wonderful tour here on the Paris to Normandy itinerary, where we take the day out to a local farmer with his sheepdog. The sheep they keep to trim the grass down below the apple trees, right? So it just shows you how agriculture works. This is an example of what Viking calls its working world tours. So going to the apple farm, the farmer with his sheepdog, the sheep trimming the grass down, so when the apples fall down, they're easily found. Then we learn about the production of Calvados, and then we go into the little historical farm building and obviously taste the Calvados. And we get to learn about all the different concepts, all the different uses of Calvados, and also a wonderful liqueur that they make from the apples there too. It is phenomenal. I love it. Absolutely love the experience, and I love the product as well. So a great example, of course, something you can purchase to bring home again. So, yeah, this whole area, Rainer, is astonishing.
Well, it's one of those famous food areas. There are certain regions that are known for amazing dishes. The area around Rouen here in Normandy is one of them. Very much influenced by different kind of cultures. Because of history, people that settled here and came and brought their dishes. But like you said, this is probably my favorite dish to enjoy apples. My favorite way to enjoy apples is in form of this beautiful Calvados. It never fails. I always make sure when I visit Normandy, I'll bring myself a bottle with home to enjoy with friends. Fireside. That's the way to do it. It's an absolute stunning area.
An incredible itinerary, such a short distance traveled, yet so rich in culture experiences. It really is quite unique, and of course, lots of history there too.
Yes.
All right, speeding this up just a little bit, guys. Next question, we're 2 questions to go. Question number 7. Ready? Who was the famous French chef who made Lyon its home and still today has 7 brasseries and 2 restaurants in the city? Eric Ripert, Daniel Boulud, Rainer Marx, or Paul Bocuse? Eric Ripert, Daniel Boulud, Rainer Marx, or Paul Bocuse? Let me hear your answers. Let me see your answers. And we have 44% of you guys have responded so far. 50%. We're 35 seconds in. We're going to give you guys 10 more seconds. 52% of you guys have responded. I'm seeing answers all over the place. Again, this is great. I needed some tiebreakers here. And wanted to, that's good. You guys added 2 French chefs there to your answers so that people get very confused and think that, and I'm going to end this poll right now, and think that Daniel Boulud was the right answer. But if you did, then you're wrong, because
you're cruel. It's right. It's not Rainer. Oh, it looks like Rainer.
I'm a little disappointed, honestly.
I chose you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
if you visited Lyon, you know that Paul Bocuse is a kind of a almost a god in that town. I mean, it really everything cuisine revolves around Paul Bocuse in Lyon.
Yeah. I believe you were just with us earlier this year, Carlos, and you asked me for a suggestion to go, and I sent you to Brasserie Sud. I think that's
correct. That's where I have lunch.
And I know Rainer and I have also dined there. You can keep Paris as far as food is concerned. I shouldn't say that, but quite personally, it's, Lyon is the Mecca. The whole Bouchon format that they've been going to Old Lyon, right? The cobble streets and these small bouchons where basically you feel like you're sitting on somebody else's table, you know, and experiencing traditional Lyonnaise cooking. It is hands down in Europe my favorite place to eat. Right now.
I think that the concept of bouchons is really the most authentic way of enjoying almost homemade food, because that's what people eat at home, right? You have the checkered tablecloth, you have the copper pans hanging in front of the kitchen. That's it feels, you walk in there and it feels you're somebody's guest, right? And it's rustic and it's honest, it's non-pretentious. For me, bouchon is the most French of all restaurant concepts.
Indeed, absolutely. You have, if you're afraid of other people, or you don't go because it's claustrophobic. The tables are small. You're basically sitting on each other's tables. But the concept, as Rainer was saying, oh my gosh, you know, chicken fricassee and
the pâtés, the homemade pâtés,
escargot is there, of course, very traditional as well. You're going to have your steak and your traditional steak frites going to be enjoyed there with some good wines from just north of the city of Lyon. It is nice. You could spend days there, really.
And of course the desserts, right? The desserts. Vienne is right outside of Lyon, not too far away. They're known for their amazing dairy farms, the goat cheeses, and the milk and the dairy that's used in all of those wonderful desserts, like we're seeing here, the gâteau au fromage, right? This is absolutely, and it's different than an American style cheesecake. It's actually baked, right? A really wonderful desserts they're offering now.
Another great example of, and the next one's also a great example of, you know, us incorporating these. We're not just showing pictures, right? For the sake of showing pictures. These are all tours and experiences that you get to enjoy with us when you come along. You know, here we are obviously on the Rhone River in South, and France's Finest is a great way, because what France's Finest does is combines both the north that we just looked at, the Paris round trip, as well as the southern France on the Rhone, not to be confused with the Rhine, it's the Rhone. And what you're able to do is, why go twice when you can go once, right? And fly to Paris and enjoy the north and the south. We'll link those two itineraries together by means of the high-speed train system, the TGV, if the French aren't on strike, you know, and get to between. So you can enjoy the elements of both northern and south. And of course, we're in wine territory, right? I mean, beautiful wine country. As we go down the Rhone River, Tournon was on the previous, it's the home of the Syrah grape. That's mine. I'm all about the Hermitage. I'm all about the Syrah. And then we get on to Avignon, right? Then we have Châteauneuf-du-Pape, the famed Châteauneuf wine region just east of Avignon. And Rainer, we've spent too much money there.
Way too much, and we keep doing it, right? We're not getting any smarter. I mean, a lot of my salary is being shipped in form of wine bottles back home. So it's a wonderful thing. But you know what? Wine is life. Wine is sharing with friends and family. It's worth it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So last question. Let's go for the last question. Ready? Here we go. While exploring the Provence region of southern France, guests get the opportunity to bake a local bread. What is that bread? Baguette, focaccia, fougasse, or croissant? Baguette, focaccia, fougasse, or croissant?
I love your French accent.
I've been practicing.
By
the way, we have one more question. This is not the last one.
We have one more. Oh, I'm sorry.
One more. It says 9, but it's actually number 8.
Okay.
Of 23.
Okay. All right. We are 40 seconds in. 60% of you guys have responded. And 3, 2, 1. And 57% of you guys responded fougasse. And the right answer is fougasse. Good job, guys. All right.
Very good. Again, we were just down here this earlier this year. Took the trip out to the Provence region, and this is a local. It is very similar, actually, to focaccia, right? If you look at the proximity of this map, you'll see the proximity of Italy to the French, to the southern French region. There is a lot of Italian influence in this area, both in the cooking, the baking, the wines, of course, a lot of similarities. I love this. I love the garlic. I love the olive oil with the rosemary, a little fennel maybe to give it a little licorice. Oh my God. And again, another opportunity to enjoy the baking classes that we offer, right?
And I like what Denise did here, combining these two cruises, the Rhone and southern France, and combining it with the Rhine getaway, which you can. It's called Lyon, Provence, and the Rhineland. It doesn't mean you have to do an 8-day, or you have so many options. We even have cruises that combine a river cruise with an ocean cruise. So you get both, the best of both worlds. So this is the outstanding cruise we recently added. I love this itinerary very much.
Absolutely. Again, I think because of our repeat factor, people say, "Oh, but I've done that. What can I do?" And now by combining existing, again, look at the elements. Look at the influences you're going to have from so many regions within one trip. So
basically, from the Mediterranean up to the Baltics, right?
Yeah. To the Baltics, yeah. Yep. This was Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I think I got too excited. I started talking about Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and you can't stop me.
Yeah, Darren, you can give the tour at Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah. I think I can. To think this was first created as somebody's holiday home. Basically, that's what it was, right? When the popes came to settle in Avignon, they were looking for a holiday, vacation place, not too far outside of the famed walled city of Avignon, which is the home for the palace of the popes. They came and they created this magnificent location, and the next thing you know, growing on the ground surrounding were some of the finest grapes you can find in the world. It's probably is my most favorite wine to drink.
There's way too many different wineries within Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So to switch your favorite wine to drink, I mean, that's just a lot of different wineries that produce.
Yeah, my favorite blend, basically. They're all under regulation. They will vary slightly, but what remains the same is the regulation that surrounds the wine and what can be used. And Bordeaux, I think we're going to step onto Bordeaux real quick. It's the same situation there, right? We're in the southern France. Rainer, you just touched on it. We were so close to the Mediterranean.
Yeah, we're right there.
A lot of people expanding and pre and post programs always highly recommended. Get there early, stay later, discover locations and areas that not necessarily part of your river cruise or your ocean cruise. Always highly recommend. We're down the French Riviera almost here, and we can touch Monaco. We can go to Nice. Marseille, of course, and come on, Bouillabaisse. Let's get real now. That is phenomenal. Nothing speaks culinary wise of that region. And the Noy Prat, of course, is the main ingredient that we'll be using in the martinis and also in the cooking as well. Yeah, Ryan, we've enjoyed a bouillabaisse or two with the roux. Oh, that roux is very,
very much so. And I admire you lucky ones who live near an ocean or a coastline. I live in Arizona, really hard to come by fresh fish and fresh seafood. So always love to visit Darren, always love to visit folks in LA and anywhere on the coastline. But this is really an amazing dish. And, I'm ready for one actually right now.
Come to Miami, visit me too, my friend.
on over.
All right, so we're ready for the last question. Now, really the last question, the bonus question. Let's call it the bonus question. And here we go. While in Bordeaux, what food would you expect to experience if you joined the Viking Day tour out to Arcachon?
You've done well.
Truffles, oysters, bread, or cheese? Truffles, oysters, bread, or cheese? And we are 20 seconds in. 28% of you guys have answered. 40% of you guys have answered. Let me see those answers come in. And let's go. It's 5 more seconds. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? This is it. Let's go. 57% of you guys answered truffles. 24% of you guys answered oysters. The correct answer is oysters. Talk to us.
Oh, accouchon. I'm an oyster lover. Probably why I chose this question. It's some of the finest oysters you're going to taste. So we take the trip out of Bordeaux. Just a try. It's a drive, a morning drive, an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and we go to Arcachon. Arcachon became famous during the Victorian era when the elite and the Parisians were discovering, having bad chests and cough and such like that. So the doctors said, prescribed fresh air. Sea air is what you need. And as a result of that, the little town, which is now a fishing village of Arcachon, was created. We go to Arcachon, we get on a small little boats, and we make our way across the bay, as you can see here on the map here. And then we go and we visit oyster farmers. And they get to share all about the techniques, all about the concept of oyster farming. And honestly, you've never seen so many oysters in your life. And they are not shy. They come out in trays. They come out with local wine, pairing wines to go with those oysters. No, you're dragging me home because we're not done yet, right? Right now we got to go for lunch on the famous Cap Forêt.
So beautiful. I mean, it's the food. Yes, the food is fantastic, but it's the setting. You're actually sitting alongside the coastline and you're looking out at this incredible scenery. I mean, it doesn't get more scenic and more beautiful than that. And Viking has reserved the table, so there's no waiting. We're getting off the boat, we're getting into the restaurant, we'll take our seats and we're being served. It's absolutely stunning. Maybe one little add-on, we earlier talked about Anthony Bourdain. The Bourdain family is actually from Arcachon. So a lot of his cooking, a lot of the seafood influence in his cooking style is what rooted in his home here in Arcachon, southern France.
When you read his book, and I hope I'm allowed to say that one of his first sexual experiences was eating an oyster here in Arcachon, and that's it. That's his words, not mine. But yeah,
was it? I think he said spiritual, Darren.
I think we're an adult audience here. We don't have children, remember? Viking, no children. So we like
no children.
Like this.
That's a good way. Good opportunity to share the fact the Viking does not accept children.
Get it in there somehow.
There you go. Good stuff, guys. All right, I'm going to allow 2 seconds for Denise to finish tabulating. And
Ryan, are you okay? Rainer, are you okay for
time?
time?
I'm good on time. Thank you.
Okay, right.
All right, good. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and share Robin's question. Is there a combined river and ocean cruise to Thailand, Angkor Wat, etc.?
No, that would be a tough one. We're in the region, of course. We're river cruising on the Mekong, so we're combining Vietnam and Cambodia together. 12-day program. But the ability to create a butterfly, as we call it, an actual back-to-back, that would be a lot of timing and quite. But hey, you have the greatest advisors in the world. They could help you. There's nothing off the shelf.
Right, but we can absolutely that's what we can absolutely do. So we'll do whatever combination of whether it is land, cruise, and river if we must to put together the experience you're looking for, Robin. So count on us to make that happen.
We do have combos, just to confirm there, that we do have combos of river and cruise, but they're launching from the European rivers, right? From combining the 15-day Grand European or the Rhine getaway, and then sailing out of Amsterdam and doing some of the Baltic and the fjords. So those are actual curated itineraries.
I've added Denise to the spotlight because I know that she is ready to share with us the winners of today's trivia event. Are you ready, Denise?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay, good.
So congratulations. So first prize will be for Lisa Hawkins So Lisa, if you're there, I'll email you between today and tomorrow with your gift card. Second prize will be for Robin Sapitielli. And third prize will be Laura Redwine. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much for
Congrats.
participating and for joining us today.
That's right.
And remember that not only you have a gift card, but you also have a special prize for those who join and are ready to book their next Viking cruise.
Exactly. So everybody, so Lisa, Robin, and Laura are getting these gift cards. They're going to be emailed or mailed. They're going to be digital gift cards, or they're going to be physical
Digital gift cards.
Digital. So we're going to be emailing these gift cards via email to you. But anybody that was in today's event that decides that want to book a new Viking cruise within the next 2 weeks will automatically be eligible for $100 per person shipboard credit, which will be automatically applied as soon as we make that booking. So do we have any questions from the audience before we let these two culinary geniuses go for
Yeah, I have one for a guest who is going in November. First time cruiser down. First of all, Rhino, I want to tell you, Paul Bocuse might be the chef, but I'd rather go dining with you because you know all the stuff.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
If I remember correctly, I think, isn't Paul Bocuse dead?
He is. His
He
son
currently
still-
is. He is.
So that's another reason why I go with you.
Well, that's a good
lost,
reason.
we lost him in 2018.
Yes.
Well, go find
Great.
him. Okay, now,
Great
Darren,
man.
as I mentioned, I have a guy going on the Paris and Normandy, and in November, late November, could be a little bit cooler and all that. I know he can wear jeans off the ship and all that, but for dining, jeans are okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, because I thought it was more country club casual. Okay, so
It is, but
okay.
jeans today, shorts are frowned upon, really, Steve.
Yeah.
You know, that's
and
really
during that time frame, I don't think he'd be wearing
yeah.
shorts.
We're very welcoming. I'm just assuming your client is not be arriving with ripped jeans and studs all over them.
Yeah, he's in his 80s. Yeah.
Hey, don't be ageist.
Okay. Thank you, Darren. And Ryan.
Denise has posted our contact information at the bottom of the in the chat. And please follow us on YouTube. Please follow us on Facebook. Please follow us on Instagram. Just stay in touch with us because we're going to continue to host events like this, but also we're going to continue to share lots of information and knowledge with our guests and our audience via our social media channels, via email. Obviously we very much enjoy the opportunity to have you guys join us and share some time with us and learning and laughing and having fun. For Darren and Reiner that have really spent a good hour and a half with us today, thank you so much. We not only appreciate the partnership, the friendship, but obviously the time you guys put into making us look good and obviously sharing this incredible space with us that we really enjoyed. I particularly enjoyed. I'm reading some great comments in the chat. Thank you guys so much because I know our guests enjoyed it as well. Know everybody, please, that if you have any additional questions or anything else comes to mind after today's event, feel free to just reply back to the email invitation. Ask if you have not been matched with one of our Luxury Cruise Connections advisors just yet. Please let us know that you might be interested, and we'd be happy to connect with one of our advisors. We are not a call center. For those of you guys that were here at the beginning of the event, you might have heard Stanley mentioned, he has an incredible relationship with JC. Every single one of our advisors will have a direct relationship with our guests because that's what we feel travel should be planned, just by creating relationships, getting to know you so that we can understand what your preferences are and really make the most out of your trip. So if for those that already do business with us and already matched with one of our advisors, thank you so much. We truly appreciate your loyalty and your friendship. And for those that haven't done so, please give us an opportunity because we promise we won't disappoint. And in fact, we will delight you, hopefully, with an incredible planning experience. That's it for me today. Darren, Reiner.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank
audience.
you. Good
By the way,
job.
Darren,
Thank
did
you.
notice how we
Amazing.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
for you?
Thank you, guys.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa is telling me Chaveli is the best. Thank you for your loyalty. I'll make sure Chaveli hears that message. Thank you, guys. Thank you all very much for joining us, and I'll see you in the
Thank
next
you,
one.
everybody. All right, guys. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
guys.
everybody. Travel safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Contact us at luxurycruiseconnections.com.